In the world of Dragon Ball, King Kai is the Northern Lord of Worlds, a divine being who watches over the northern section of the 7th universe. King Kai was first introduced to audiences in the Saiyan saga of Dragon Ball Z, in which he served as the ultimate martial arts master to Goku, whose abilities surpassed even that of Kami, the god of the earth. King Kai was very instrumental in the survival of our main character, as he made Goku stronger and gave him abilities such as the Kaioken and Spirit Bomb, which aided him greatly from that point onward. King Kai was also the one who gave the Z Fighters the location of planet Namek, which led to the defeat of Frieza and Goku unlocking the legendary Super Saiyan transformation. So King Kai was incredibly helpful in early Dragon Ball Z. However, soon after this point came a divergence in time and space, as history was changed, which led to multiple timelines. And while in the main timeline of our story, King Kai continued to be helpful, in the original and future Trunks timelines, he was surprisingly absent. But why is this? Why didn't King Kai help the remaining Z Fighters when the androids attacked and wiped out the majority of the planet? Why did he never seem to communicate with future Trunks, Gohan, or Bulma when his guidance and information could have been incredibly crucial? This has to be one of the single biggest questions and potential plot holes in the Dragon Ball franchise, as King Kai could have potentially changed everything in this totally hopeless situation, and even allowed the Z Fighters to defeat the androids without ever resorting to time travel. So where was he, and why didn't he help? Well, many people have said that it's because of King Kai's connection with Goku. Goku was his first student from the Earth, and perhaps the first of their people he had ever spoken with. Over time, he and Goku became good friends, and Goku in many ways served as an ambassador to the Earth. However, Goku died of the heart virus before the conflict with the androids, so many contend that with Goku's death, King Kai no longer had any connection to the Earth, and thus was no longer concerned with their affairs. But I find this hard to believe given his history with the Earth. Imagine if King Kai was watching over the Earth during this period of time and discovered that the androids were ravaging the world. With Goku dead and many of the other Z Fighters killed, including Piccolo, he would know that the situation is almost hopeless. Yet he somehow wouldn't intervene because Goku wasn't there. He wouldn't care anymore? That wouldn't make any sense. Furthermore, King Kai wasn't only connected to Goku. Tien, Chaozu, Yamcha, and Piccolo all trained under him, and he had spoken to Bulma and Master Roshi on multiple occasions in the past. And all of these people are also Goku's friends, so there's no reason he wouldn't have helped them in any way that he could. Another argument is that perhaps King Kai was totally unaware of the whole situation. When Goku went to his planet after training with Gohan in the time chamber, King Kai was asleep and totally unaware of what was happening on the Earth. This is likely because he was aware that Goku was a Super Saiyan and felt there was no real threat to the Earth. However, the time span of Goku meeting King Kai again on his planet and explaining the situation is only a few years' time. Whereas by the time Trunks had traveled back in time, over 17 years had passed since Goku returned to the Earth. So this is a very long time for King Kai to go without looking in on the Earth, especially when it's so easy for him to do so. And if we want to include what Dragon Ball Super has said about there only being 28 planets with life on them in the entire universe, it's even more unlikely he wouldn't look when there's much less than that in his jurisdiction. And while someone can say that King Kai wouldn't be able to sense the androids, he would still be able to tell if all of his students suddenly died. And let's pretend that King Kai sleeps like Beerus, and he literally slept through the entire situation. I find this even less likely because any of his students could have just crossed Snake Way again, likely even faster than ever, and tell him the situation. And I'm sure King Yama would allow them to do so when they've already done it before. I mean, when Goku returned from his one-day visit in the Buu saga, he was able to go pretty much wherever he wanted once he checked back in. And one-day visits are definitely a whole other topic for a whole different video. But if we look at Toyotaro's special manga chapter in the Dragon Ball Super manga, it seems even more unlikely that they didn't keep their bodies, which means there's no way someone didn't tell King Kai. So again, this doesn't add up. Just imagine if King Kai had contacted Bulma and found out what was happening on Earth, or if he found out from Goku or another dead Z fighter. He would have known that the Earth's Dragon Balls were inert and located New Namek for them, just as he did in the Cell Saga. If Bulma could create a new time machine in the future, I find it difficult to believe she couldn't create some sort of spaceship. And if it took years to accomplish, the Z fighters would have likely been training the entire time, and would probably be able to defeat the androids by then. And even if Bulma and Trunks for some reason couldn't get to New Namek, King Kai could just communicate directly with the Namekians and have the Namekian Elder Mori wish the other Z fighters back to life with their Dragon Balls. Or at least Goku and Piccolo. Now Mori said he powered up the Dragon Balls to wish back large groups of people in the Buu Saga, so perhaps it would only take one wish. And they could even give the Z fighters some extra time like he did in the Saiyan Saga with Goku so that Goku could train with him. And if for some reason Goku couldn't come back, Vegeta is definitely another possibility. And he already did this during the Frieza Saga when he was instructing Dende and Kami on what to wish for, so he could certainly do this. So again, the question becomes, where was King Kai and why didn't he help the Z fighters? Unfortunately, this is another question that I don't think has a satisfactory answer. There's no real in-universe explanation other than perhaps extreme incompetence on the part of numerous characters. So in the end, it may only be answered through headcanon. As for an out-of-universe answer, I think it all comes down to writing freedom and what Toriyama wanted to convey. If the audience was reminded that King Kai could just help everyone and the Namekian Dragon Balls still existed, they may not see the situation as being as grim and hopeless as Toriyama wanted them to. Death seems permanent in the future Trunks world. However, when you remember the afterlife, Namekian Dragon Balls, and one-day visits, it starts to seem like less of a big deal. So Toriyama likely chose to ignore all of these plot devices to tell a more interesting story, even if it doesn't make that much sense under real scrutiny. So ultimately, King Kai could have been very valuable during this arc, and that intervention could have led to a much better ending for Trunks, Gohan, and those involved. However, Toriyama and those behind the anime chose to ignore his existence in order to tell a more intense, gripping story. But if you really want an answer and want to know why he wasn't helping in-universe, let's just say he fell into a plot hole. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and enable notifications so you could see all of my content right away when it comes out. Yeah, and you better subscribe, enable those damn notifications.